Good morning, Parkside. Welcome to the Midweek Encouragement video. Thanks for tuning in. Last night, I was talking to a couple of friends about ways that God had provided for me, ways that God had provided for my family. And as we were talking about just the different ways God had provided for us, what we kind of came to realize, and I was thinking through, is there's sometimes ways that God provides in sort of the stereotypical ways that you would anticipate. You know, that He provided a job, He provided friends for me, He provided a good church for me, He provided, these kinds of things that we just naturally gravitate to. We see them as good things. But there's other ways God provides for us, and it doesn't immediately seem obvious to us. A little further down the road, you can look back and see, oh, that season that was maybe it was really difficult. Maybe it wasn't incredibly difficult. It was just kind of the doldrums, so to speak. But I see how God provided for me even in that. And if I wouldn't have gone through that time or experienced those circumstances or whatever, I don't know that I would have learned to see God's provision in that. He provided Himself. He provided a lesson for me that I probably wouldn't have learned otherwise. So what I want you to do this morning, or this afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, I want you to think of a couple of ways you can just write down, man, God is providing for me in this way. And maybe start with the easier ones, the ones that seem obvious. But then I'd invite you to just pray and ask God, say, God, past these obvious things, are there ways you're providing for me that I'm not even seeing yet? And ask Him to give you eyes to see, like what are other ways He's providing for you? And because here's what I know. When we rehearse the truth of who God is, it strengthens us to go forward in light of that truth. But we've got to rehearse what it is first. This Sunday, we're singing a great hymn, one of my favorites, Great is Thy Faithfulness, kind of a modern arrangement of it. But it's that reminder that God's faithfulness is great. It's never changing. It's like the other hymn says, when darkness veils His lovely face, we rest on His unchanging grace. Sometimes the dark seasons of life, they can seem to veil His grace and His goodness, and we always must rest on His unchanging grace. And by rehearsing the truth of who He is and His goodness and His provision, it's strengthening to our souls to continue forward in that way. Let me tell you one other way thing that's been encouraging me, because I think you'll enjoy this, and it certainly has uplifted my soul. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had a chance to meet with a couple of young men in our church who have trusted Christ as their Savior, who are following Him, who want to be baptized. And in like 2 or 3 weeks here, we're going to have another baptism Sunday. And I just am so excited to baptize these guys who love Jesus, who are following after Him. And it has been a major encouragement to my soul. So I look forward to here in a couple of weeks having a baptism Sunday where we can just see and hear from these guys who have been saved, who are following Jesus. And I want you to know that's coming up, because it's an encouraging thing to see and to experience and to be part of. Last thing for you, this Sunday, we're in the parables continuing, Luke 19. I was just in the passage yesterday doing a little bit of research, a little bit of work, and was already seeing fresh things that I hadn't seen before. I'm getting ready to go study in a couple minutes here. I don't know what I'll find, but I would encourage you to read through Luke 19, verses 11 through 27. That's where we'll be this Sunday, and just begin to consider that passage, the truth that's there, and what God may teach you from it. Parkside, I love you. I look forward to seeing you Sunday. Have a great week.